Good morning. Welcome to Market Monday for January 22nd, 2024. Building on last week's theme of zooming out, it's helpful to remind ourselves that despite the short-term gyrations and temper tantrums, the market tends to move in cycles. Here's the mid-60s to 1980. Grinding, up, down, going nowhere for a decade and a half. Can you imagine that? 15 years of no progress?
We would call that a secular bear market. Secular meaning a multi-year, multi-decade trend compared to a cyclical market, which would be a few years. So the secular bear ends in the early 80s, then a secular bull takes over in one of the greatest bull markets of all time.
But what did you have during that time? 1987. Dow falls 20% in one day. 1990, savings and loan crisis and recession. Cyclical bear markets. Then, of course, we had dot-com bubble, 9/11, real estate bubble, global financial crisis, down, up, producing the lost decade where the S&P 500 was down over 9% after the first decade of the new millennium. Secular bear.
Only to be followed by a secular bull. But what have we had? 2018, COVID, 2022, brutal cyclical markets in what appears to be an ongoing secular bull. So it really does become a question of how do we manage the cyclical markets to participate in the secular bull? And of course, what to do about those pesky secular bears.
And here's another wrinkle, something we discuss almost weekly here at Market Monday. Here's a study of sentiment across 47 popular news media outlets. You can see them down here, from 2000 to 2019. This isn't even including post-COVID, which we've seen sentiment just crater in the post-COVID world. You can clearly see this trend shift from positive to negative sentiment. I don't think this includes social media, but you can imagine what that would look like. Fear and clicks over history and context make it that much more difficult to manage the cyclical bearers. That's why we're here, folks, week in and week out.
But that's great and all. We zoom out, we manage the cyclical to participate in the secular, but what does that mean for the next 10 years? Matt, what return should we apply to our 10-year projections? It's a question we get asked all the time, and a very important question to talk about. What return should we apply? 10%? 4%? 6%? 8%? Answer is all of the above. We are able to take your current assets and apply many different assumptions to them to forecast various scenarios. We want to find out the good, bad, and the ugly. We need to find out what all these different scenarios will look like for you in your life.
JP Morgan forecasts the classic 60-40 portfolio to return 7%. Of course, as you can see here, these numbers do get updated every year. Here's 2023's numbers right here. But they're usually slight adjustments from year to year. So large cap US, 7%, small cap, 7.2%, international developed, 9.2%. What about bonds? Aggregate bonds, 5.1%, investment grade corporates, 5.8%. You get the picture, but guess what? We know one thing for sure. It's all wrong. It may be close, it may be way under or way over, but over a cycle, it's all of those things. When somebody says, on average, XYZ returns 8% per year, you know what that really looks like? Yep. Quite a bumpy ride. But that's how it works, folks. That's our task, our challenge, to tolerate the erratic annual returns to achieve that average annual return. Up and to the right over long periods of time. Have a great week.